Welcome to The Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. This is your one-stop shop for sports content, politics and government discussion, and even some neighborhood restaurant reviews. We want to thank you for joining us here every week. Instead of going to 3 different channels, you can come right here every week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. Why don't we start with our sports insider? Back with us again are both Eric Cruz and Devin Inholson. Gentlemen, how are you today?
Good, very good.
Always fantastic when this guy's around.
Oh, that's great that you can just bond that way.
Yeah, of course.
Especially here on The Pulse. It's fantastic. So this is our Picks for Peter B segment where we pick the 3 biggest matchups on the NFL schedule, and our insiders will break it down for you and give you their pick. Why don't we jump right in? And why don't we jump in with America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, heading down to Washington for a division game that nobody thought was going to be this important. The first place Redskins, by the way, that nobody thought was going to be this important at this time of the year. Eric, why don't we start with you? Well, analysis, pick?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with Dallas Cowboys right off the bat. And I just like what they did last week against Jacksonville. I feel like they found a good rhythm with Dak and obviously getting Zeke going right away the way they did. Defensively, I mean, they just turned it around. They're more physical. They're fast. I like Washington. They're running the ball well with Adrian Peterson. He's having a resurgence. But for me, in this game, I think Dallas is going to travel well. They're going to bring that defense. And I think Dak, what they did was they kept the second, third down conversions very short. He found Cole Beasley. I like what they did in that game against Jacksonville. I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
Monster game for Cole Beasley. And
absolutely.
He said in weeks past, look, I want the ball. I'm open. Give me the ball. Monster game.
He says he's open every time.
Exactly.
He's open every time.
All receivers say
that. All receivers say they're open every time.
Exactly.
Are you feeling because of last week with the Jaguars and how the game they played?
Just based off of the 2 weeks.
So for me, I mean.
Devin's asking the questions, by the way.
Yeah, I'm asking the questions. I just want to know where his head's at. Because I agree with the guy. I'm going to agree with Eric. I'm taking the Cowboys as well. Because they had something. They found something, getting the ball to Beasley, which obviously, when he gets the ball, he's a guy who can catch the ball and make a play with the ball. If you see the Cowboys, guys don't usually make a play with Allen Hurns. Gallup hasn't made really any plays this year. Maybe 1 touchdown catch for one of them.
He did make that catch last week, though.
He did. No, he did.
In the first quarter.
Again, but it's very minimal with them.
Right.
You got these guys for a reason to get the ball and make plays. So for me, obviously this is going to be a defensive battle. 6th and 7th in yards per rush defense for both of them. So it's going to be tight. But the key is this. Whoever turns the ball over, I think is going to lose this game. And I think that because Alex Smith, you want to say game manager versus game manager, I guess you can say. Yeah. But this game is going to be won in the second half, and the Redskins are last in second half points. So, if they get ahead early, but they don't score once they get ahead. So I think the Cowboys are going to have to beat them in the second half, and I like that.
There you go.
I think
that's
the way to
Hey, Cole Beasley was the first receiver of the year for the Dallas Cowboys to go over 100 yards. So
that says a lot. Yeah. I mean, I think Ezekiel Elliott did it one game too, correct?
Yeah,
but he's obviously not a receiver. All right, why don't we jump into our second game? So it's a good one actually. We have the 4-1 New Orleans Saints going down to Baltimore, or going up to Baltimore since they were more south of Baltimore, to take on the 4-2 Baltimore Ravens. Now. The Saints are coming off a bye week. They came off a monster performance that Monday night game against Washington where Breeze broke every record known to man, I feel. And then the Ravens, we spoke about the Ravens on this show a few weeks ago, and you guys weren't too sold. I think there was a little bit of a Joe Flacco analysis and pick.
I like the Ravens in this game. They're home. I mean, the Saints are they're just so powerful on offense. But on the road in Baltimore, the crowd could get a little crazy over there. I'm a big fan of crowds. It does make a difference in communication, in football games. But I like what the Ravens do on defense. They're physical. Again, they're fast. They got a great Hall of Fame player in Terrell Suggs playing at his highest level. I just think that they're going to do enough on offense to outscore New Orleans. Again, on the road, I don't think New Orleans is going to be as high-powered. I like the Ravens in this game.
And I was saying that because you said a couple of weeks ago you went with the Ravens against the Steelers, so you had that good. That's a good pick. But for me, I'm going to agree with Eric again.
Okay.
I like you said
shocked it.
I like the Ravens because the Saints are a different team, as from being a home and away. Yes, they won 4 games in a row. To me, I think this might be possibly the Super Bowl preview. Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to be, but there's a good chance that it could be. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So the Saints, they're inferior through pass. They're 30th or worst in yards per play, first, completion percentage, all these things are making the other offense looks good. The Ravens, to me, it's going to come down to this. Baltimore, over the last 3 weeks, has not been able to get the ball into the red zone. I believe they're 29th in the last 3 weeks. The Saints are 29th in red zone defense total. I think that the Ravens are going to be able to move the ball, commit to the run, but be able to. They're going to pretty much prey on the weakness of the Saints, and that's pass against them. And the Ravens are number one in pretty much every category defensively.
Yeah,
interesting.
They're tough.
Let's just get to our final game because we're running low on time here a little. Threes are wild. You have the 3-3 Jacksonville Jaguars home against the 3-3 Houston Texans. I think these are two teams going in polar opposite directions. Texans have won 3 in a row, and the Jaguars have lost 2 in a row, I should say. Analysis and pick, Eric?
To me, 3-3, yes, they're going in opposite ways, but for me, the Texans, they're finding a way to win at 3-3. They're not really dominating games. With the Jaguars, they've really just, I felt the last 2 games they lost their identity. They stopped running the ball with Fournette being out. They put the ball in Bortles' hands, and it hasn't worked out. I think this week, Jacksonville at home, feeding off that home crowd. Defensively, they're going to be on fire. They're going to definitely run the ball against this Texans defense. And the Texans don't score in the red zone. I just think the Jaguars are going to be a little bit better on Sunday. I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
Well, that's to me, that's the big difference. Night and day, the success last year with the Jaguars is that they were able to run the ball. Leonard Fournette not playing is really hurting them at the end of the day. I mean, they were first in rush yards per game last year. They had 18 rushing touchdowns. They have 2 this year, and Blake Bortles has 1 of them.
But let me ask you a question. How does that hurt their defense? They let up 40 points. They gave up 40 points.
This is what I'm getting to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, please. What I'm getting at is that when you have a good rush defense, rush offense, your defense is on the field less and less. I don't care how good your defense is. When you're on the field 3-4 minutes more than you
Couldn't agree with you more.
You're going to give up more plays.
Right.
So they're not giving up. They're like 9th in points per game, I believe. So I think it just comes down to run the ball, you win the game. And the Texans, they're not really great at anything. They're not great at any particular.
It's almost like they're surviving the
Yeah,
Texans.
that's what
They have not dominated any single game yet. And I don't believe they're going to beat win today on Sunday. So I got the Jaguars as well. We agreed on our 3 picks.
All 3 picks. Look at that. I guess if you're wrong, you're wrong. And if you're right, you're right. I mean,
hopefully we're right.
It's all in or all bust here. Exactly. And really quickly, we got a few seconds here. Best team in that division, the AFC South.
I like Houston. I do like Houston because I feel if they could get going on offense, they could be one of the better teams, especially with their front four on defense. But
I'm going to say Jaguars because before the year when everybody had them in the Super Bowl, now they're 3-3, and I think once they get the Fournette going, they're going to be just as.
And the Titans are just not getting any love from you guys, huh?
Nah.
Mariano can't throw 100 yards a game.
Yeah, I don't know. That team is not.
Well, exactly.
I'm just saying.
I mean, and then no love for the Indianapolis Colts because they played so great.
They're just struggling.
Well, they're
right
1-5.
They'll be back. They'll be back. The
Andrew
Colts,
Luck is throwing 50
right.
times a game.
I couldn't agree with you more. Well, gentlemen, that's Eric Cruz. That's Devin Holson, our sports insiders every week here on The Pulse with Peter B. We'll be right back with Mr. Josh Sotomayor-Einstein. Stay tuned.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design studio and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunley Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Rama Jewelers, located in the Lyndhurst Shopping Center at 413 Valley Brook Avenue, Lyndhurst. Come for all your jeweler needs at Rama Jewelers, where you will find a fine selection of necklaces, earrings, rings, and bracelets. Choose from one of our complete sets, our many signature items, or find the perfect engagement ring. Come on down. That's Rama Jewelers at 413 Valley Brook Ave, Lyndhurst. Call 201-939-5784 or visit us online today.
Welcome back to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano, and welcome to our Politics with Peter B segment. And last week, we kind of left you a little bit of a cliffhanger. Our resident political analyst, Mr. Josh Sotomayor Einstein, wanted to talk to you about parking. So why don't we just go back to it? So Josh, welcome back in the studio. How are you today, sir?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here every week, and I'm just so happy to be a part of this. But if we jump into parking, it's a real big issue.
It certainly is. But why don't we start with this? And I always laugh about this. The Hoboken parking utility was created years ago as a way to create more parking in town. That was the basis behind creating this authority. But does it actually do that, or is it just a cash cow for the city council and for the administration to fill budget gaps? What are your thoughts?
Well, really, it's turned into a piggy bank for who's ever the occupant of the mayor's seat and the administration at any given time. It makes anywhere between $3 and $5 million a year for the city to pad the budget, which is ridiculously large for the amount of population that we have. And it's not reinvested into creating parking solutions. If anything, money is fungible, right? So it just goes into the city budget, and then the city ends up spending money to create more parking problems. Okay. And there's a lot of citizens that have issue with the bump outs, which kill about 3 parking spots. If there's a bump out on every side of the street, and they both on both ends they kill 1.5 spots. So then you got three spots that on one side of the street used to exist and are no longer there.
Right. And at the last council meeting, to piggyback off my previous question, at the last council meeting, or the second to last one, a council meeting earlier in October, they spoke about parking a lot. And the city council did a number of tangible things at this meeting. Number one, Councilman DeFusco, first word, Councilman DeFusco, introduced a new ordinance where instead of ticketing, booting, and towing, they are going to eliminate the booting aspect of it, and they're just going to do a ticket and a tow, basically saying that if you boot a car, it's an antiquated system, and the car is going to be there, and it's not creating more parking, which is probably a pretty good thing, in my opinion, correct? You want to create more parking space. Anybody that breaks the rules, get their car out of there. The next thing they did, or the next 2 things they did, was really, really interesting. They increased the fines on tickets, whether that's for overrun meters or parking in a bus stop, and then they increased the fees on parking in municipal lots. The only good thing that came out of that didn't even come out of the meeting because they tabled the initiative was these temporary no parking signs. Right now they have 72 hours to post temporary no parking signs at any street in the city. And basically, Councilman Cunningham of the 5th Ward said, look, I think we should give residents a week's notice because sometimes people go away for 4 or 5 days and they come back and find their car ticketed. To me, it's the most backwards thing the city council can do. The only good thing that came out of any type of parking initiative they had on there was the temporary signs, and they tabled it. What are your thoughts?
So there's a lot you brought up there.
I'm sorry, yeah. We have a little bit of time, and I know that.
So just in reverse order, you're 100% right. The fact that the council tabled the reasonable part to give people more time, more heads up before there's going to be temporary parking, because everybody knows that people park for they get their parking spot. That's a Tuesday spot, and then they don't move it, so they have to move it. So they really, really have to. Only having 72 hours notice, someone might go on vacation, they might have a family emergency, they might not pay attention.
Correct. Right.
And then, God forbid, they get a ticket or they get towed, or they get the boot. And going back to the first part about switching away from the boot is a good idea, as long as there's a period of time where people can be aware that they got a ticket. So what happened, I don't remember what it was, I think 3 or 4 years ago, there was a young woman from out of town that came to go to the bars in town and the restaurants in town and have a nice time with her friends. And then when she was leaving Hoboken, her car had been towed.
Right.
So she, didn't know what to do and was freaking out. As long as it's not immediately towed, then I think it's a fair system, because a booted car occupies a parking spot, and we have a deficit of parking spots, and we have a surplus of permits.
What about the fines and the increase in city lots?
Well, they're a backdoor tax, and they raise the cost of living on everyone in town. It's inexcusable. Town is already expensive, And especially the people that currently are in City Hall, they always pretend to champion the little guy and they bemoan the fact that town is less and less affordable. But if you actually look at their tangible acts, what they do is raise the cost of living for everybody. So out of their mouth, they pretend to care about the little guy, and what they actually do, that's a different story altogether.
So you hear a lot of times about perimeter parking on the outskirts of the city, and then getting, I guess,
what
shuttle
outskirts?
buses.
What outskirts?
Exactly.
We're
Everything is
1.25
pretty much
square
built.
miles of land. What
But
outskirts?
I think that they're just trying to come up with these ways to try to create more parking and for people to visit and to have people park on the perimeter of town. But you're right, there really is outskirts of town and things like that. But they also tried that with corner cars. They also tried that with zip cars. They also tried that with trying to come up with bike lanes everywhere. This way they were hoping that people were going to get rid of their cars and ride their bikes everywhere, especially when there's 10 feet of snow outside. I mean, are they just trying things to just try things, or do they actually think that this is going to alleviate and create more parking?
Well, when people are elected to office, from my observation, they have to prove to their voters, and also they have to validate to themselves that they're doing something. So instead of trying something that's effective and hard to do and will take a long time, they go with, it looks good, it's flashy, it's good advertising for me. And that's where you get these things like the bike rentals. Like, a lot of people like them, right? But at the end of the day, most of the people that are using them, they probably own their own bikes. They probably don't use them every day. It's probably a small portion of town. And for a small portion of town, for a special interest, some might say, you've killed a bunch of parking spots. And for a lot of people, it's a necessity. For a lot of people, they have family that's older, that live out of town. A good portion of our town does the reverse commute and heads west and north and into other parts of Jersey, into the suburbs for their work, and a car is a requirement. Right. And the city has waged a crusade against parking, and instead of spending that money that they make from the parking utility on solutions, they've just used it to do whatever other project that they feel looks good, that will get them a couple of more votes the next election, because that's how you cobble together
really quickly,
a coalition.
We're running out of time. It's 100% a hidden tax, these parking fees?
Oh, 100%. And with the new the non-meter meters, where you have to do it as an app on your phone.
We didn't even get into the sign.
Not only are we charging people extra money to come to Hoboken, which has been a problem the last half a decade, declining numbers of people coming to eat and coming to enjoy our town and spend their money in our town, but also the elderly, they're going to get ticketed.
Right. So we're out of time. That's our political analyst, Josh Sotomayor Einstein. Stay tuned as My Rana has another neighborhood restaurant review. We'll be back.
Introducing the MyJCMC app, powered by Practice Unite. The free MyJCMC app puts the power of healthcare at your fingertips. Go to the concierge for access to referrals, scheduling, and appointments, see emergency room wait times, and get directions to Jersey City Medical Center health locations. Read the latest JCMC news through their social media feed, find a doctor, and more. The MyJCMC app. We belong to you.
The Jersey City Medical Center. You know it for its award-winning life-saving ambulance service. It's also your health hub, with health and wellness locations staffed with certified professionals all through Hudson County. The Jersey City Medical Center, here to help you with your healthy, here when you need us the most. The Jersey City Medical Center. Visit us on the net to learn more. Jersey City Medical Center, Robert Wood Johnson, Barnabas Health Facility. Let's be healthy together.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers the quality of life you deserve in 10 high-rise rental towers with amenities such as the on-site Newport Path subway, light rail and ferry service, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams Supermarket is just outside your front door. A health and fitness club, spa, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. NewportNJ.com. Enjoy the New York skyline from Newport Town Square. Manhattan is just one path stop away or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Want to visit Newport? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. Go to NewportNJ.com for details. Newport has luxurious towers, great restaurants, shopping, New York skyline views, schools, playgrounds, a marina and yacht club, gym, spa, fine wine, fine living. It's incredible. It's you. NewportNJ.com. Newport, live like you want.
Pen and Pencil Properties, Jersey City. Shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces that address your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment. Adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at penandpencilproperties.com. Pen and Pencil Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Welcome back to the Pulse of Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano, and welcome to our Places with Peter B segments. And we're joined live in studio by the lovely Mai Rana of MyGoodies.com. Mai, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Now that you're going to be talking about food, we always come in here hungry, and we shouldn't with all these food reviews that we've been doing here. Come on. So today, Mai is going to be giving us a review of Just Because. What a great name. Which, of course, is located at 281st Street in Jersey City. And I have to tell you, I am really excited about this review because I am a huge seafood fan. Huge seafood fan. So why don't we jump right in? What is your go-to dish at Just Because?
Well, there's a lot of options, but the must-haves is definitely the JB fries, which is like their version of like a loaded fries. So it's fries at the bottom of the base, and then it's like drizzled with lemon aioli and topped with just crab meat. And then some, some seasoning and all that, but it's just like so delicious and so flavorful that you have to get that one. You have to get like their shrimp po' boy, their sandwiches, nicely breaded. Seasoning is on point, and it's in a nice like bread, so that way the sandwich it just all goes and flows together. And of course the king crab legs.
King crab legs
Yes.
is great. Well, let's start with each of these because now I'm like really salivating at the mouth here. And I hope it's in the show. Okay? Anyway, this the French fries. So crab meat and you're right. That is a blast of flavors.
Yes.
I mean, you have the crab meat, and I'm sure the French fries are the right amount of salt on them and things like that. Correct? Am I right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So it's just something that like you can definitely share amongst a group. You need two if it's like 4 people because you're gonna eat all of it yourself. Like I know I do. I know I can't
That's how you
share
know it's good now.
Yeah, I can't share it. And also there's another variation of that same exact dish with the cheese. I mean the fries, but with cheese. So like if you are a cheese lover and you want to add that with the crab, and you're feeling like spontaneous that night. Go for it.
All right. And we'll get into the other dishes. Let's talk a little bit about the space now.
Yeah.
So they consider themselves a family-style seafood spot, serving po' boys and shrimp baskets in a nautical-themed industrial space. Sounds to me like they're straight from Louisiana with some Cajun good food. So first of all, I guess explain, is there some sort of Cajun aspect to the restaurant? And industrial space. I'm just a little confused about the whole, is it in a warehouse or what have you?
I think in terms of their seasoning, so they have some options when you are ordering their like main like dishes for their seafood. So there is some Cajun seasoning, there's some garlic butter, there's some like Old Bay seasoning, and then you can get it steamed if you're like if you're trying to watch your calories, but we're not here to do that.
Of course not. I mean, goodness. Exactly. You want a salad, you go to a salad joint.
Right,
you want seafood, right? I mean,
you gotta go here. And in terms of the space, I think that it's like pretty open. It's really great for groups. The only thing is that they don't take any reservations. But if you take a look at the space, it's pretty much like a open venue. In the back, you can see like the kitchen. You can smell all of like the food that's being cooked and steamed. So you get that that all in the atmosphere. So you get hungry as you're waiting. And then they have like a bar at the side, and towards the front, it's like just like a bunch of tables, and it's like nice family style restaurant.
That's great.
Really cute.
I mean, that's fantastic. And then something else that caught my attention on the website as well, because I tend to like to do my research here, is that they say their menu features Southern cuisine with a Vietnamese influence. That is literally finger-licking good. That's exactly what was on the website, not me saying that. I'm just confused. Is it a Cajun-style restaurant with Vietnamese flavors? I mean...
So I actually grew up with the two owners that are running the business now.
Okay.
They had a really well-known Vietnamese restaurant just not too far from there, it was Miss Saigon, and then they just relocated to Hamilton Park, like in that area. But they've always been in the restaurant industry. Their family has been in the business for over 20 years. So I think their twist on Vietnamese that's implemented into the restaurant now is like the family style. They also serve some egg noodles, some Vietnamese coffee to complement your seafood experience. But that's like that's like towards the end. That's a little towards the end though. That's like with the desserts and all that. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think in terms of their seasoning, like their spices, like if you have like any Vietnamese food, there's like a little kick to it that you can kind of find in their seafood if you're there trying it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I did look at their menu, and their menu it's quite simple. I mean, they have for some appetizers a lot of deep fried fish, of course the chicken fingers and things like that. They have po' boys like we discussed, and let's go back to the po' boy that you brought up a little bit earlier in the segment here. It was a shrimp po' boy, correct? And what was on it again?
So it's like breaded shrimp.
Really like salad.
Breaded shrimp, like on a nice like hoagie style bread, and then it's got like their like aioli on there as well. So super simple, but just like nice kick of flavor if you're ordering that, and it's not overpowering, like not too fishy, not too salty, just like the right amount.
Just the right amount,
Yeah.
exactly. And then they also have a portion of their menu called the main events, correct? I did see that. And that's where you have your king crab legs. And you order everything by the pound?
Yes.
Okay,
so it's by pound, right? It's served in a plastic bag. You can see all the ingredients, what was steamed in there. You can add corn, you can add potatoes, and you wear like this bib. You also have, you wear the bib.
Is it required?
I mean, if you really want to watch if you're on a date, I would suggest you wear it. And then also you have like the gloves. So if you don't want to get down and dirty and have like, smelly fishy hands before you're about to hit the club, then, it's advised that you wear that. So it's a fun environment.
And as a side dish that I noticed on the menu was they also have sausages.
Yes.
I mean, which again, it's a seafood place. I mean, I can understand chicken fingers. You're going to have kids with you. You're going to have some chicken fingers and French fries and things like that. But sausages. Have you ever tried sausages there?
I haven't, but I have seen people order it with like crawfish, corn,
I guess
and
they
then
go well together.
Yeah,
it's
all
very
seasoned
like
together.
Louisiana style, like
Exactly.
you said. I mean, when you get anything down in Louisiana, I mean that's where. So their hours are interesting. They're 3 to 10 on Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They're closed Monday, Friday, Saturday, 3 to 11. Is it always crowded?
On a day like today, I don't think it would be, but on the weekends, you can definitely expect to wait about an hour. They don't take any reservations at all.
No reservations, and there are. You can obviously take takeout out of there, but
yeah,
is
but it's not the
similar
same.
to anything else? Yeah,
it's not the same. I don't think the
about,
experience. Yeah, the experience is not the same. Like you're really there to enjoy your food, freshly made. And once you kind of like carry it in the car or like get it delivered, I don't think the taste is the same if you were to sit down at the restaurant.
I can imagine taking like a 2 lobsters or 2-pound lobster home after it's been cooked there. I'm sure it wouldn't taste the same.
I mean, I'm sure they pack the bib and all that. You can experience it at home, but I would just enjoy it there.
Probably a social media like a storm when you're in there with your bib on at Just Because. I mean, it's good. And there's not really many restaurants. I mean, we spoke about a taco place last week, a taqueria. We spoke about Razza Pizzeria. There's not many places like this, correct?
No, I
in
mean,
the area.
Not too far from there is Surf City, but like that's only open seasonally, and they don't really give that same like menu options at that location. But there's no competition surrounding this.
That's amazing.
So it's a
one. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, thank you.
I so want to get over to Just Because, located at 280 First Street here in Jersey City. Mai is from mygoodies.com, MAIgoodies.com, and she'll be back here every week with another neighborhood food review. I just want to make a couple of announcements here, folks. We are going to go live on the Pulse with Peter B on Saturday, November the 3rd at 11 a.m. So please join us for that. We are all excited to go live. And don't forget to like our Facebook page. That's The Pulse with Peter B. So just type that into your search, and we hope that you like and follow us. So I want to thank everyone for joining me in the studio. I want to thank you guys for watching. Join us next week to get your pulse on everything you need to know. Have a great night, everybody.